With around 500 species, Masdevallia are a large genus. In this video, Clive Halls from Mt Beenak Orchids takes us on a tour of his glasshouse and introduces us to this wonderful group of orchids.
Yeah, so this is Kimberliana Pure Gold, and as we looked at in the Sarcocalis, this is an albino bred orchid, so all the red pigment's gone out of it. And you can tell mostly the red pigment drains into the tails, but they're still pure yellow. So it would have looked like a standard orange one before it turned into an albinistic form. I'm not quite sure why that happens in these, but it's quite regular. So this is another unusual one. It's actually bred from the albino pure yellow we were just looking at, put onto a bright pink. So it hasn't been changed to an albino, but it's different colour, different type that we always seek to get. So we get some really bizarre colours. We mix spots and stripes together and you end up with this leopard falcon. Yes, they're amazing flowers. The colours are so vibrant and so out there. It's always fun when you achieve something like that.
And this one at the back?
That's the parent of the Memoria Chris Waterman. That's Copperwing Sunburst. So we looked at that round there, and that's the parent of it. This is another new hybrid first bloom seedling. It's probably taken about 5 years to get to this stage, mind you, and bred specifically to get that flare of red into an orange flower. Again, it's always about contrast. If you have good colour contrast, it makes them for an interesting flower. So we got completely opposite now, complete plain white. And these started off as very small flowers, but we developed the line up to these flowers which measure probably 6 inches top to bottom, 150 mil. Pretty nice. So we're looking at a really dark red now. Or obviously we call this red velvet because that's what it is. And developed from 2 very small flowers up to this size. We like this especially because it's what we call a heat tolerant Masdevallia, so it will tolerate some days being hotter than normal without it getting too affected in the leaf growth. Okay, so we're looking at another brand new seedling now, bred from a Masdevallia called Supernova and the bright dark red velvet one we were looking at before. So it's parented by one orange with spots and one deep red velvety colour, and particularly nice. So this is a sibling of the previous one we were looking at, same parents, slightly different result as you can see, but similar. Just like your children, you can recognise the similarities to the parents, but each one's an individual. Okay, so this is a flared, as we looked at the red flared before. This is a yellow flared, and we call this Bronze Warrior actually, because it's got that bronzing tone and the bright yellow up the middle. Yeah, I quite like it. It's a bit different. Okay, so this little fellow is called Harlequin, and it's a hybrid of 2 very well-known species, Uniflora, which is the type species for the genus, and another species from a similar area called Calicodon. And both those species are extremely hard to grow. In fact, I don't grow either of them, but the hybrid, having what we call hybrid vigor, grows relatively easy. And out of interest, this is the first Masdevallia I ever purchased in Australia, from a nursery up in Queensland of all places. And that was 30 years ago, and still growing plants of it. So this is Masdevallia soracula, which is a species from Ecuador and even into Peru. It was named by a botanist friend. We had it as labelled incorrectly as Masdevallia angulata, and when he came here one day he said, no, that's the very rare soracula. And it has a big lip. Most Masdevallias have such tiny lips that you don't see them at all, whereas this fellow has a big pendulous, big mobile red calloused lip. I don't know if it's moving, it does move. And of course it's pollinated by insects which are attracted by the smell, which is a smell. It's quite unpleasant when it starts to age a little bit. It smells like rotting cheese. So we looked at Harlequin before, and they were little flowers, so we bred it onto a bigger purple type, to increase the size. So the stripes have remained, but the size has gone one size bigger, and the colours improved a little bit too. See how the petals fly backwards? That is what we're trying to avoid all the time. If you look at it in profile a bit, you'll see that the petals fly backwards there, and they should stick straight down. If you come to this red one just below it, you'll see how the form should be straight up and down. Now that's a particularly good red one. And there's another one with the flybacks.
Hang on. Another one with the flybacks.
Yeah. See, they should be like that. Then it'd be a good orchid. When they go like that, it's a bad orchid. Bad. Completely unique Masdevallia in the world. We bred it here, and it received the highest award some years ago. And it's thin like paper, and it's bred from a species called Datura. And you can see the likeness between this flower and the Datura plant, Angel's Trumpet. So this is a type of colour you can get out of modern hybridising. This is a combination of using stripes, spots, pink ones, yellow ones. They're all in the background of it, and it's come together in this most amazing colour spectacle. With, you can see broken stripes, the spots have interrupted the stripes, and you've got the blush of pink. Quite extraordinary, and a very young plant, only a first bloom seedling.
This one got a name?
Yep, it's called Memoria Chris Waterman, and he was a very good friend of mine and ran the Orchid Spectacular for years as a manager, and passed away 2 years ago now.
So that's it for Masdevallia Orchids. For more information on these wonderful orchids, such as how to repot them, how to divide them, and general growing instructions, follow the link to a second video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for regular updates on all aspects of gardening, and as always, good luck with your own gardening.